Yeah, welcome back to the show. Many thanks for staying with us. Finally, we're done and over with the Roger Meto Nunu interview that we started playing from yesterday. I believe that you've taken a thing or two from that conversation. Well, away from that, Dr. Mahama has been appointed Ambassador at Large by President Akufo-Addo, but dissenting views, of course, have emerged, starting from within his own party, the PNC. The party's chairman, Bernard Mona, is not excited with a move that has a semblance of an all-inclusive governance. Joseph Akable has been speaking with Dr. Mahama, who describes such dissenting views as those emanating from ignorance.
Well, after the elections, I came back to my practice, and I've done that every election cycle. I'll be a doctor till I die. I enjoy being a doctor, and that's my first love, being a doctor.
How about the politics? Because the impression that we often get, especially for we the younger ones who grew up seeing you contest, we thought you were one of those career politicians. But now the understanding you are putting across is that you show up for the election, afterwards go back to practice.
And even if I had won the presidency, after that I'll come back to the practice, because the presidency is a limited time. There is you go 4 years, and if you are lucky, they give you another 4 years. After that, what next? So basically, I've maintained my practice, and I think that's the right thing to do. I've always seen the politics looking for an opportunity to do the maximum good for the most people in Ghana. I've never thought about what I will get from politics. I've always thought, what can I bring to politics to make life better for the people of Ghana, to make sure every child can go to school, to make sure every sick person can go to the hospital, to make sure that no Ghanaian go to bed with a sick or empty stomach. These have been my objectives. And so the practice has only given me the ability to do that. Because if I were working for somebody, he would either dismiss me or say you are spending too much time on politics. But for me, as a Christian, indeed, God formed us in our mother's womb, had us be safely delivered for a purpose. So basically, you must ask yourself, what good am I doing in this community that God has put me? I wasn't born in America, I wasn't born in Canada, I was born in Ghana. So God means for me to do something for Ghana. That is why I've kept running and running and running to do something good.
Doc, talking about running and running, I mean, before the elections, yeah, I heard you where you made the point that all those you started contesting with one way or the other become president. Yeah. Did the outcome of the 2016 election surprise you this time around, or it was just...
It surprised me. It surprised me only because when you run, you know, you either win or lose. But it surprised me because personally I didn't do well, and my party didn't do well. But that, you know, didn't bother me because there were reasons that I could deduce, even though I'm not somebody to give excuses. The disqualification and all that it meant. But now we are moving forward. So we are here to talk about the appointment.
We'll come to that quickly.
Yeah. But that's what I want to talk about. I'm a forward-looking guy, you know. I don't do too much post-mortem.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah, so now talking about the appointment itself, I mean, before we all heard about this news, tell us what was happening behind the scenes.
Nothing much. When the president won, and he was then president-elect, I went with some people to congratulate him. I did that because I'm a citizen who believed that we were on the brink of chaos. She did a research and said that 54% of Ghanaians thought there would be violence in this election. And at the end of it, we had elected a president who was able to take over from the former government, and Ghana was so peaceful. I think I decided to recommend or commend the then president-elect. So after he was sworn in, he also invited me and said he'd like to work with me, and he was thinking of this particular appointment. He has some things in his mind which he wants me to do. So I said, well, I'll be glad to work with him. It's an opportunity from God and from the president to serve Ghana in another capacity, you know. I've served Ghana as a doctor, served Ghana as a teacher, served Ghana as a political leader. Now this opportunity to serve Ghana as an ambassador is something that I think I'm grateful to God and to the President for making it available to me.
So it wasn't a case of lobbying for it?
No, I didn't lobby for it. But of course, I talked to people who knew me and whom I knew.
Yeah, so Doc, what informed your decision to accept this appointment?
Ghana. The man whose party I ran now, Dr. Hilary Leman, in 1979, when he was asked, what is your ideology? Then there was socialists and capitalists, 79, I don't know whether you were even around. Okay. He said, my ideology is Ghana. Which means that whatever moves Ghana forward, that's what he stood for. The same here. My ideology is Ghana. My ideology is not PNC or MPP or NDC. My ideology is Ghana, which means whatever will move Ghana forward, that's what I will do. That's why I left my lucrative practice in the United States to come back to Ghana, to offer my service to the nation that I was put in by God. I didn't choose to be born in Ghana. I was born in Ghana, which means God wants me to do something for this nation. And so in all these areas, I'm working for God.
In the past, we have heard about talks about a possible merger between the Nkrumah's traditions, and that in itself shows that ideology is equally as important beyond the fact that it is all being championed to ensure that the country benefits from it. Your party, you took over from Dr. Liman, who brought the Nkrumah's tradition back to power. How do you reconcile that with joining a party that, in terms of ideology, seems to be on the opposite side with your party?
Let me make it clear. I am appointed ambassador at large for Ghana. I'm not joining MPP. I'm still PNC. In fact, I'm the leader of PNC. So let us, as Ghanaians, and that's what the president is trying to do, move away from this winner take all. Move away from leaving people out. Let me tell you something. President Obama campaigned against Bush because of the Iraqi war. But when he won, the Minister of Defense he appointed was Bush's Minister of Defense. He saw that the guy had something to offer, so he brought him in. So if Nana Akufo-Addo, President Nana Akufo-Addo thinks that there's something Edward Nasegri Mahama can offer to Ghana and appoints me as ambassador of Ghana, I thank God for it.
Is it the first time you've had any kind of contact from a certain president asking you to join his government?
A certain president, yeah. Yes, that's the first time.
It has never happened in the past because we have
not a certain president. What you heard was that candidate Kufuor wanted me as his running mate.
Yes.
He wasn't sitting president.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that is fine. Now, in 2016, you definitely contested on a ticket of a party. So one would expect that when such an offer comes in, even though you are an individual wanting to serve your country, a consideration that will be key will be your party. What kind of engagement did you have with your party in between the contact from the president and with this announcement coming out?
Well, some elements in the party were obviously in the know and encouraged me to go ahead with it. Others were not. But the proper thing, because, you know, when the president was forming his government, appointing people, names were bundled here and there. I waited for the confirmation. So I'm now going to call a meeting of the standing committee of the party. That's the day-to-day administrative body of the party, and inform them of what the offer is and what I'm going to be doing and how it may or may not impact on the party.
Should this not have come before the announcement itself?
Pardon?
Should this not have come before the announcement itself? Because as it stands, it will be that you are just...
If we were going to do a party-to-party alliance, then of course the party would have been involved in formulating its position vis-a-vis the MPP administration or manifesto. But this is not a party-to-party alliance. This is the president looking at me as an individual and saying, I want you to do some things for Ghana on my watch as president. I'm sure anybody called upon by the sitting president to do anything for Ghana. He didn't say, come and work for MPP. He said, come and be an ambassador of Ghana. I think it's an honor, and I thank him very much.
So just to be clear, it means that the engagement with the party was to do with some elements within a party, but not an official engagement in that sense.
Yes, to do that, to do an official engagement, I would have had to call the standing committee or NEC meeting and say that this is it. In the past, we have done that under my leadership. For example, in 2008, when then candidate Nana Akufo-Addo was running against candidate Professor John Atta Mills, and there was a rerun. I called the NEC meeting and said, in 2000 we supported MPP. We're not going to just go and support them like we did in 2000. 2008, there is this situation. Where do we go? And you remember, I don't know whether you were following.
I was following Kenny.
Yes. The party divided dead in the midline. There were 39 people at that meeting who were entitled to vote. When we voted, 19 voted for MP Nana Akufo-Addo, 19 voted for Professor Mills. I was holding the last vote, and I didn't vote. I said, because you've split in the midline, I'll let you go, and when you come back, I'll unite you. So basically, I have done it before. When it was to do with the party manifesto, the party getting involved. In this case, he invited me as an individual and said, I want you to do something for me. And I think it's an honor. So
clearly, it appears some members of your party are not excited about this. We've heard, if you've monitored the news closely, your national chairman is on record as saying that in the past, you have been an advocate against persons within your party moving to other parties. He's also talked about the fact that perhaps some sanctions may be in order. How do you react to the two?
Moving to other parties, that is what...
in terms of joining, so your party is in opposition and you join another party that has formed government, in government.
I have just told you, I'm ambassador of Ghana, not ambassador of MPP, not ambassador of PNC. I'm clear in my mind that I'm working for Ghana. It's true, those who took ministerial appointments were working for Ghana, but in that case, they're implementing a home policy. This one has to do with external affairs. And I'm telling you that even if you are a Ghanaian, say in Britain, and another Ghanaian is being beaten, you as a Ghanaian, you come to his aid. You understand? So basically, here, I am ambassador of Ghana to be sent on missions outside Ghana, or even if it is in Ghana, it is not to do with MPP or PNC. It's to do with Ghana.
But you still have to be conducting your business in line with the president's foreign policy.
Very true. Yes. And I don't see any contradiction in that. Because the president's policy, foreign policy, is in the interest of Ghana. That's what the Constitution demands of him. That whatever he does, it will be in the interest of Ghana. That's why elsewhere you can impeach a president who is not following the Constitution of Ghana. So we all are called upon, all Ghanaians, to uphold the Constitution of Ghana. So if the president is upholding it, we hold his hands up so that he upholds it well.
So for those who are pushing for some sanctions for just joining the NPP in government, in quote, what do you have to say to them?
First, they misunderstand the role that I'm going to play. Secondly, I will give them the chance and appear at the meeting that we will do. And after I have told the meeting what the position is, and they have had the chance to deliberate, I'm sure that I'll be vindicated.
Now, to wrap up, just before we do that, I mean, when you engage the president, I'm sure as ambassador at large, he did give you some briefing as to what exactly he had wanted you to do. What kind of role are you looking to be playing?
You have to ask the president. Now, I've taken an oath of secrecy. So I will only speak what the president speaks and say what the president says.
But I'm sure you have monitored the space. Ambassador at large, I've been trying to do a bit of research around. The only indication I'm getting is that it was around in Nkrumah's era that we seem to have one one Budu Aqua would seem to be performing that kind of role. So obviously people should be interested and will want to know at least what kind of role you'll be playing, at least in the list.
But he answered on already.
Yes.
Like our 2 times.
Yeah. I mean, I have already told you, whether you call me ambassador at large or roving ambassador or ambassador plenipotentiary, whatever the title is, I'll be doing what the president of Ghana wants in the interest of Ghana, not in his party's interest. And that is what I'm clear in my mind about.
And what do you look to personally bring on board?
Integrity, sincerity of service to the country and to the president, abhorrence of wrongdoing and corruption. These are things that I think I'm associated with, I feel strongly about, and maybe it will be helpful to the nation in this capacity that the president is giving me.
One thing that I'm sure should be of interest to you will be the protection of Ghanaian citizens outside the country. In fact, yesterday the president received a Qatar mission where he complained about how some Ghanaians are being treated in those countries. This is something that yourself going out there, you have a broader view than even some of the ambassadors who are specific. How do you?
No, the president will tell me there's an issue here, go and do it for me. So I'm going on the orders of the president with his mandate and the way he wants it done, and that's how I'm going to conduct myself.
And finally, Dr. Mahama, I mean, I can't live without asking this question. Your own ambition of wanting to be president, are we seeing you again?
I haven't made up my mind. When I do, I'll let you know.
So we may see you again?
I haven't made up my mind. Whether I'll go or not, I even don't know. So how can I tell you what I don't know?
No, but clearly, at this point, you should have some indication.
Why should I? The election is in 2020 and 2024. Why do I have to sit now and make up my mind about things yet in the future? No, I don't do.
That conversation was between Joseph Akabley and Dr. Edward Mahama. Away from that, Gender Minister Otiku Afisa-Jaba says the Labour Ministry has been charged to review the current migration law in the country to meet trending challenges such as human trafficking. Through the Interministerial Task Force, the ministry has rescued about 55 children who are currently being rehabilitated at secure shelters. We'll bring you that story much later. Right now, though, it's time for Sports on the Pulse.